You know, the old school stuff.
I'll do one of these.
Do one of those. That doesn't matter. And we are live. Hey everybody, Burnout here. Back with you guys with a little bit of another little fun podcast thing. Probably end up being switched over to the Burning Minds podcast channel very soon. And with me today is our new host for the show, or new co-host for the show. My old buddy Boyd from the Army when we were out in Okinawa together. So old boy's just bored as hell some days, so why not? Let him come on and have some fun. Give me a second. I'm gonna go ahead and do my little sharing bit as I normally do. Fun time. Co-host. Come. There we go. Speaking of which, I was looking at fucking Facebook. Briggs, who we talked with last time, he put up a video where I guess there's this freaking girl who's basically tapping on a police officer who's in like riot gear. She's tapping on his head with this balloon that looks kind of like a dildo. I thought it was a dildo at first, and it pops. The balloon pops, and she just screams like she's giving birth. And I was like, I totally thought it was a dildo, and then he pushed it away and maced her at the same time. I'm like, really? She's screaming over a balloon like a fucking 4-year-old? Like, I thought she got maced after hitting a cop with a dildo. Would have been way more interesting. Ruined my night.
Well, I mean, in that situation, you're talking about a cop in full riot gear. There's a possibility you might think there's a flashbang going off, or somebody shot you.
Right? That'd be.
That's how I woke up the other day. The wife decided to get the boy a balloon that apparently he stomach got upset at the store, and one of the ladies there was cleaning up after it. She gave him a balloon, and he brought home, and then promptly managed to get that thing in between the ceiling fan and stucco ceiling. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, boom! Like, hello? What the hell was that? Oh, the balloon. Okay, that half a second where I have to realize it's not imminent threat, it's just a balloon.
Not that old, like, holy shit, incoming? Oh, no, it's just a balloon.
Yeah, pretty much. It was like my brain went, wait, the boy had a balloon? Okay, now he doesn't. All right, that's fine,
He's all upset now.
Everything's good in the world, At moment, my ass came in a full foot off the couch, So,
oh, man.
not unusual, but you're talking about a tense situation and you're trying to be cute about it. Suddenly your balloon pops. Maybe you thought you got shot.
Yeah, right.
That'd be sufficient reason to scream in my book, I think.
Speaking of loud popping noises and shit, there was was it like 4 a.m., 4 to 5:30 a.m. Out here over Phoenix. We had like 2 or 3 days ago. We had a meteor come through, and it came through the atmosphere and detonated in the sky, basically,
Nice.
and caused a dual sonic boom that sounded like two gigantic, massive explosions, obviously, over the entire valley, and it woke up tons of people.
So I'm taking it made the local news down there.
It made a lot of news. There were tons of video feeds of it and stuff. But what's weird is when you looked at it in the morning, the clouds were just all swirly and like crazy looking. So it didn't look like, it looked more like what would happen if a rocket, or a little missile or something like that, freaked out and was spinning out all over the place. Like, somebody set off a bunch of like little, what do you call it, model rockets, like, C612 engines or some shit like that.
You're talking about the ejecta from the explosion of the meteor?
Yeah. When everything went everywhere, it caused a lot of like swirly cloud formation. So everyone was like, "Is that a missile? Because that's like White Sands isn't too far from us. We'd see that." And I'm like, "No, dude, it's a meteor. It came straight in through the atmosphere." So.
Well, even if it was something for White Sands, I don't think they tell you till after you saw the flash.
Right.
Oops, you just accidentally launched a nuke at Arizona. Smile. The flash.
Oh, it wouldn't matter. I mean, we're already on the surface of the sun. It was like 115 degrees today, so fuck that.
Yeah, Kuwait still has you. Sorry. Kuwait is literally like...
I know that.
You know that last flap of skin in your taint right before you reach your butthole?
Yeah.
Right? That's Kuwait.
Hot,
It's
sweaty, and nasty all the time. I
no,
gotcha.
but on Satan, you know, all right?
Oh my
It's like
god.
the
We
last
we.
flap of taint skin on Satan's underwear, all right? It's 128 at night there. I mean, I've been to Death Valley in the U.S. I know what the temperature's there like.
Yeah.
Kuwait's worse.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Like at least in Arizona, you're like, well, it's a dry heat. Well, Kuwait is 140% humidity in the shade.
God, yeah. It's
So,
like, is it raining outside? Nope, that's just the standard ambient fucking humidity in this place.
well, no, honestly, the reason why I think I wonder why people don't just straight up die there more often is that the idea that you require a lower humidity level to sweat. So being in a dry environment is actually more conducive to the evaporation that cools you off during sweating. But
Mm.
in Kuwait, it's so fucking humid there that when you sweat, it just sits on your skin. It just drips off of you, runs onto the ground, which does you no good. So I mean, like I didn't have a cool beverage the whole time I was there. So I said, fuck it. I just got coffee the whole time because like if the bottled water is 160 degrees, I might as well get caffeine.
You're like, the coffee is cooler than this, despite it being, fresh brewed.
Well, they didn't run the burners there.
They wouldn't need to, would they?
Like they turn on they had like in the green beans at Ali Side Air Base, they had the little commercial bun coffee brewers, but they turned the burner elements off, so they just brew it into the pot and it would stay the right temperature all day.
Wow, that's fucking terrible.
Well, the guy there is like, well, like somewhere where it's colder, the coffee would burn over time because of being sitting on the element. He said we could actually use our coffee for 14 hours before it gets too acidic.
Wow.
Just from the heat there, the ambient temperature. And it's like they're running an AC in there, but people opening and shutting the door all day, it's basically useless.
Yeah, it just destroys it. So.
It's to stave off death, and pretty much that's the only function of the air conditioning.
Well, how about we get on with this shit, man?
I'm following.
We'll jump on the first crazy random video. So this one is a fun little video from Josh Feuerstein, as many of you may already know, or should already know, unless you've been living under a fucking rock for years. He's been the driving force behind the evils of Starbucks non-Christmassy cups. Has been caught lying on multiple news stations. Yeah, I love his lying on like multiple news stations thing. That was pretty funny, but yeah. So let's get going on this one. If it actually wants to run, that'd be nice. Like, play. Ow. Whoa. Hang on. What the hell was that? And
First on here, look, they tell us that
hang on.
but I would say ignorance is
Pause it.
Disguised. First on here, look, they tell.
Okay, I paused it. For some reason, the Watch Together stream is running on my side.
Well, it should be running on both our sides. That's the thing. It's running on your side so you can hear it, and running on my side so I can hear it and record it. But my mic is picking up everything your speakers are doing.
Yeah, hold on. I might have to switch to my headphones to make this usable.
I think you will.
Let me mute my microphone here real quick.
Okay. He's got the ugliest fucking face I've ever seen, though. Just like... I have to say, he definitely looks different, or I don't know if different's the right word, but he looks weirder without his goatee on, or his facial hair in general. Like, you kind of expect it when just watching him, but he's like, he shaved. Now it's just like, it's like 8 extra chins moving around all at once.
All right.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna run play for a second. We'll see what happens, because it wasn't playing for me a minute ago.
Here, look, they tell us that ignorance is bliss, but I would say ignorance is bondage disguised as bliss. In fact, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to probably drop a couple of truths on you right now that's probably going to scare you.
If anything he ever says scares me, I want someone to immediately murder me by ripping my brain out through my asshole.
Well, the fact that it should scare you that human beings can actually have those thoughts and not spontaneously just bleed out.
Well, his funny thing, his first statement is, you know, ignorance isn't bliss, ignorance is bondage. Like, isn't that kind of what your religion is? It's like a lot of mental and psychological bondage for everybody.
That's essentially the basis of it.
Right. This thing just
It should. You know, if you were to tear back the veil of truth, they've been telling us for a long time that we as Americans are free people and that, you know, we live in a free society, and we've kind of bought into this illusion because we go to the polls and we vote. But in reality, if you were to look at corporate America, if you were to look at what's really going on, just consider this. Do you realize that today 90% of the seeds in the world are controlled by one company? They have a monopoly on it. And
isn't that like Monsanto or something like that? Is the company that has that control, quote unquote?
That's what happens when people get, like, when they read like BuzzFeed or something, and it's like an 18-word article about breaking news. All right, first of all, his figures are wrong. The largest seed conglomerate in the world actually has somewhere around 52% of the seeds species on catalog, but they don't own 90% of all the seeds in the world.
Yeah, well, that you got to remember, like Josh Feuerstein and like accurate numbers for anything. I mean, the only thing he probably has any accurate numbers for is like the cost of like a Big Mac meal at McDonald's, because that's pretty much all he's got.
I would doubt that highly, but yeah, I mean,
yeah, he probably doesn't even remember that stuff. He's like, he orders it every day. He's like, I don't know how much it costs.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like this is the situation where somebody gets the tiniest nugget of it's like anti-vaxxers. They get the tiniest nugget of information, and then their brain fits it into a narrative somehow, and then that's what they believe. That's his whole business, really.
Well, I mean, his favorite thing to do is taking whatever is going on and just distorting it to any way possible for his for his narrative, for whatever he wants it to be. And it's just like, I don't understand how someone can take like solid fact on a thing and just shred it apart, throw it on the floor, and say this is wrong, despite it being like, you know, I don't know. It's one of those fucking things to me. I don't understand people that do this shit. So this lag time between like when I click play and when it actually plays is weird. Play.
Amazing is that this company has genetically modified these seeds so that they don't reproduce. They won't reproduce seeds. They're essentially sterile. They'll grow you one crop, but you can't take the seeds from that crop and plant again. No, because they want to control everything. Now, why should that scare us? Because the world can't live without food. And so if we don't
I would never have guessed.
They control us. The one that controls the food controls the world. And you don't think we should be scared?
Wasn't originally like he who controls the money controls the world, and now it's he who controls the food? Like,
well, you're talking about if you're not paying attention to levels of economic development throughout human history, then his statement is fundamentally correct. That if you control the manner in which people can attain their basic subsistence, then you have ultimate power over them if they have no other option.
Well, of course.
But there's no such thing as no other option, all right? Yes, the Terminator gene is a real thing. They really do have that as a possibility. No, they are not using it in most market situations. But the yield that comes down, the next yield, is better if you just buy their seed from scratch. You know, it's whatever mechanism they have. Again, it's a small nugget of truth placed into a big bucket of blah, 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 blah. All right? You know, but yeah, I mean, if you talk about economies of scale, then money is a lever just as much as food is. It's the method by which somebody can attain their basic subsistence. However, whoever controls that has a lever that is irrevocable. You know, in a situation where you can't get food unless you have money, whoever has all the money or can control your access to it can control whether or not you eat.
Yeah.
But he's talking about it in a more direct sense, as if there was no other way to produce food for human consumption other than through commercial purchasing from a grocery store. You can grow your own garden.
Yeah,
and you can get.
You just know that a bunch of people are not going to. That a lot of people just don't want to do that, just because we have the ability of having things really easily given to us or gotten for us. You know, so there's plenty of other ways of doing shit. Just it's one of those things. He never has that nuanced mindset for it, but I don't expect that from him.
But again, I mean, like again, it's a nugget of truth. But the fact is, yeah, we should be concerned about like a monopoly in the agriculture sector. That any time that any one entity whose profit is where profit is the motive and not the good of the community, we should be suspect of a monopoly. Again, nugget of truth, you know.
Yeah, like I said, this is probably one of the few videos where he's not completely crazy about stuff, but at the same time, he's kind of like, well, I mean, you know, I guess I look at this in some way that, you know, the title of his thing is Scary Truth About Why We as Americans Are Not Really Free. Well, yeah, but have we ever really been truly free by that standard? Because we always have a need for all these things, so we're always in some way, shape, or form tied down to doing the things that make us.
We're an interdependent society.
Yeah, that's how we work.
Since the first two monkeys decided that the third monkey could stay home and make bread. All right, that's literally how our species is operated. So yeah, when you don't produce everything that you need for basic subsistence yourself, you are dependent on others, and that can be used as negatively against you or positively for you. Again, this much truth, you know. But
yeah.
You see he's handicapping it out in, you know, his child molester park somewhere. So he's obviously doesn't have a prepared set of remarks with facts and dates and statistics and sources done in MLA format. He's just speaking out of the top of his cornhole.
Well, see, here's the thing too, though, is what's funny but also kind of like annoying about this, the fact that he had this massive campaign out to do to get a Red One camera, and yeah, and he never does. He's still to this day. He got more than enough money to get the Red Epic, which is the top tier, and get tons of lensing and stuff for it. And he's been caught, you know, saying that, oh no, we changed our mind with it. We didn't go with the Red One. We went with a couple of Canon 5D Mark IIIs or 7D Mark IIs and things like that. But you never see him use them. He only ever uses his cell phone. So, and it's like his cell phone is on the shittiest setting possible. Like, my cell phone has like my cell phone has a 5 meg camera on the front of it, and it's not, like, I'm sure his does too, but he has this shitty look to everything, and he's always in portrait mode, which is the dumbest fucking way of doing it. Like, dude, turn your camera sideways.
He's a grifter, man. I mean,
that's all he is. No, he's a grifter and a liar.
A couple $100,000 for a camera, and he's gonna spend it on fantasy football. You know.
Yeah, he's just gonna spend it on fucking whatever stupid shit he wants to. But
P.T. Barnum was right, and he made a lot of money off of it.
A fool and his money are soon parted.
Well, more like there's a sucker born every day. But you know, I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, this guy knows that he has a large contingent of viewers, most of which probably don't have the mental capacity to light an LED. Right? and he's able to.
Oh, I lost sound.
Say whatever nonsense comes into his mind, and they fork over the money. I mean, come on. I mean, that's the same reason why Donald Trump's self-funded campaign has $70 million in donations. It means there are idiots out there who saw a man who claims to be worth $10 billion and gave him money to run for president. He got $10 billion. What the fuck does he need your 5 for?
Fucking, yeah, he doesn't need it for dick shit. So Briggs is texting me over Facebook right now because he's watching the stream, and he's like, my videos are higher quality, and that says a lot. And I'm like, yeah, dude, Briggs sits in his car, man. Every single video you see from him is either in his car or in his living room, and he's just got his phone set up on fucking on landscape mode, and he's just talking at it. Which, by the way, Briggs, I got through like most of your most recent video. We got to talk about your I don't know what's the best word for this here. We got to talk about your excitement level, good sir. You don't jump into topics very quick. Yes, I know he's a scamming loon. Anyways, let's finish this.
Thinking about the fact that we don't even have seeds that reproduce. another crop? I mean, how scary is that?
Is that actually a
We
thing?
start
Do we
thinking
have
about
seeds that
things
don't
like the New World Order,
reproduce
start
because of this
thinking
shit?
about what tomorrow
That's
may hold.
he's
Now,
talking
I
about the
realize that so
Terminator
many of
gene.
us have bought
Oh.
into this media lie that everything's okay, but in reality, I mean, the media is the biggest part of it. They're the ones that are buying us into this. I mean, we drink in so much television, we drink in so much of World Star and not the world news, and yet while our kids are keeping up with the Kardashians, they're not keeping up with the current political climate. That's a problem for them.
I don't.
I don't
I know that.
disagree with the statement, but his phrasing is comical.
Yeah, that's kind of a thing. Like, it's one of the best parts.
I mean, and the sad thing is that that's been the political climate of this year altogether. Has been people on one side of the spectrum and on the other. They generally agree on the basic, fundamental issues of society. Is that the average adult American is not paying attention to the world around them in anywhere near the volume they should be, like every other civilized nation in the world. We would be worried less about a gorilla getting shot than we are. Why was there a gorilla there in the first place? Oh wait, there's Syrian refugees. 1,000 of them drowned this week. I mean, that's 1,000 human lives and not one peep. But there's again, both sides are kind of seeing the same kind of problems, but they come at it so radically different. Whereas the left, the progressives, the right hand of the bell curve, I should say.
Yeah.
They come at it in a more structural thing. How can we fix poverty? How can we deal with climate crisis? The right's like, people are stupid. Brr. Yeah, they got the gist of it, but they don't have the faculties necessary to get the go from that step to the next step that says, all right, now what can I do to address these problems? How can I identify what's really wrong? They have their narrative, they fit it into their narrative, and they go, so. But that's this guy. That's him and everybody else on that far end of the right there. They all do the same thing. They have a sense, like, when a mountain lion's breathing nearby. There's something threatening there. You just don't know what exactly the fuck it is.
Yeah, you don't know if it's a mountain lion, a cougar, or what, man. Probably not video.
When a smart person says that's the predator, he goes, there's the boogeyman,
Well, Briggs, and then it doesn't matter, man. Then next week we'll have you on like normal, man, and we're gonna have some fun because, like I said, Boyd's kind of joining us. Talked with you about that already, so we'll be having a new person to join us on a near weekly basis. Maybe we just start getting more content out, which would be kind of nice. So, anyways, let's skip on to the next thing. Briggs, you want to watch this one especially because of what I'm going to show next week is directly derived from this lady's writings. Okay. So let's have some fun. Welcome to the Church of Gale. If this thing will go to it. It's taking so long. And we're not going to watch all 12 minutes of it. Well, next time we'll try Hangouts then.
Lest the baby Jesus poops and pees himself in sadness. The Lord knows the heart. Perfect, Jesus said to rest.
So her that face.
Ow.
This lady. Okay, so most of what she does, and I don't know if this is like it's this weird thing. I can't tell if she's writing this really long, stupid, fucked up, weird story, or if she writes these things down and acts them as if they were this, but these are actually the delusions that are going on in her head. So we're about set to get into that.
I hope that she's not writing it down, because that means there's a first draft of this shit. You realize that, right? That she sat down and wrote it down, like, oh, I should proofread this, and go, no, that should be definitely somebody getting cornholed by Jesus on the Enterprise.
So okay, hang on. I have to do this really quick here. I've got to add this little screen capture right here of what Briggs is saying, and this is his facial expression. That's the start.
Favorite one.
It's just insane.
Said I never felt nothing like that. So what has caused all these horrible allergies I suffer from now? Your imagination, Gail.
So, oops. Stop. Okay, so her thing is you have to remember, like I said, she's talking about herself in this case, like in the third person, and she's been talking about allergies she found out that she had while she was working on a diet for herself to try and lose weight. And this is all actually in real life. She's actually like trying to lose some weight, things like that. And she found out she's allergic to a bunch of stuff as part of the diet. So this is what she's talking about.
Zach Knight is certainly enjoying this, but when I reacted to the foods, I
Is
was
it loud enough,
surprised.
Briggs?
I wasn't expecting it. That is at first. As I have previously said, you are not allergic to any food scale. You can eat anything. Wow. How can my imagination make me so dizzy? Consider the commandments above. And why did eating a broccoli smoothie make my stomach so bloated I looked pregnant? You are eating strange foods, not sleeping well, and not properly cleaning your apartment. These are all detrimental to your health. Gail, even...
So the video's title is Jesus Christ instructs Gail via Skype through Brent Spiner.
It just, wow.
I'm just gonna jump ahead a little bit because this is.
Yes, jump ahead to the next part because I have no words. It's just.
I don't even know what like the next part actually is, so I'm just gonna jump ahead to like 4 to 5 minutes in and just play from there. We'll see what happens. Because I don't think you need context for any of this.
No.
To copy the Gale commandments into a document for safekeeping. Yes, I agree, or I will forget. Brent, because I didn't hear from you, I presumed that I was going in the right direction. Any reason for the silence? Print out the page and place copies in places you'll see every day. Okay. Perhaps above your bed, your computer, and your bathroom mirror. Excellent suggestion. You know where I'll see it. This seemed to catch us both off guard, Brent answered, I'm afraid. Jesus was right when he says this is a present for all of us. Oh, you mean he's expecting you all to do the same thing? Or you mean that you didn't know that anything was out of line? I just asked Jesus. He says yes, he wants us all to follow the Gale commandments.
I'll do
I
this
hear
side.
some thunder in the background, Jesus. Looks like today I work out indoors on my glider. I didn't know anything was going wrong.
So, holy shit, that face.
I mean,
That's screen cap
I always
material.
thought that Brent Spiner was a little bit more Captain Kirk and a little less Kirk Cameron, but you know,
Well, like I say, he's just they're all just talking to Jesus, man. They're talking to Jesus on the Enterprise. He's the pilot. He like it's just so fucking weird.
I mean, okay, so
Jesus literally answered this like face to face.
you know this is the type of person that Abraham was.
Yeah.
Right? This is the person who believes in their heart that they are speaking with another person when a voice speaks up inside their mind that they don't recognize. All right. I don't know if it's some form of dissociative identity disorder, but there's another voice in her head, and she thinks it's Jesus.
And it's telling her, it's giving her these stories, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Through Brent Spiner. Through fucking data.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Of all the randomest fucking people in the universe,
Hey, man,
she's
like I
gonna
said,
pick an android.
like
From
I
a
said,
TV show
and
set 3 centuries in the future.
it's called schizophrenia, Briggs says.
She might as well said a Cylon was telling her what to do. You know?
Well, let me readjust this. Oh, wait, no, that's. I'm clicking on the wrong one because I'm looking at videos. And I'm like, wait, I'm gonna downsize you a little bit, and I'm gonna add in. Well, I'm gonna add Briggs into Facebook here, so everyone can actually just see what he's typing, just to have a little bit of fun with it. I know he won't be able to actually join on anything. If she gave it another name, she'd be Jackler. Oh, Jacketed. Yeah. Okay. Well, her tag thing is Church of Gale, so she runs her own church. That's a thing. Trying to make this look kind of interesting, but it's just this weird conglomeration of windows.
You know,
if you can do,
as it's visible, who cares? You know.
Yeah, if you can do voice, man. Yeah, I'll add you in on Skype for voice. What? I don't think I actually have your name on here. That's a thing. I think I'll have to actually add you. Self-worship. Oh yeah, her. Yeah. Oh no, I do have you on here, don't I? I have you under. What's your fucking contact again? Oh, hang on. Don't. No, hang on. Click. Let me get rid of that. Let me remove that really quick before you text it. No, god damn it. Okay, well now everyone knows who you are. Fail whale. It's my fault. Not that
Well,
it
if you
matters.
type something personal information related up on the screen, I'm still not seeing it in the feed, so you probably have time to kill feed.
Wait, I just I lost you for a second there. Let me add the Scarlet Fucker into our call, because that is his tag. You may lose video from you, so I'll have to see. I'm calling him now. The me that is watching the Scarlet Fucker.
Yep.
Oh wait, I'm looking at your other one. Or do you have two different ones? I forget. Because I've got Scarlet Rabbit or something like that on there. Scarlet. No, that's it, right? You need to get online first, I think. I think that's the problem that I'm having with you.
Yeah, I think he's trying to conference. Shut off the. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you just fine.
Okay, yeah, because I don't even have the option of turning the video back on at this point.
Well, I've just got it set on me at the moment, so it's okay. Let me go back to not my camera. You should be able to turn the video on now, I think. Or is it still not letting you?
No, it's got a big dark line through it. It's depressed, so
it's all sad and depressed. Well, let me switch out. I don't know. Briggs, we'll figure this out next time. Oh. We're just having fun here. Just having fun trying to figure shit out, folks. Sorry about that. And boom. There we go. Sorry. I just did a callback to you instead. Made it easier. Briggs, we'll get this figured out next time for you so that you can be a part of the doing it over online. You know, we'll probably do it on Hangouts too. It may be easier that way instead of Skype. We'll try it that way next time. But anyways.
That's for a group call, probably a better option. That's the reason I was asking before we set this up the other week. You know, like video input you wanted to bother with.
Well, like I said, it's also a matter of like we're trying new things with it. This is such a new concept for me to do. I'm used to doing I can do this kind of stuff on a corporate show, but I'm also using corporate materials. I'm using large switching devices. I'm using all this stuff. Doing it on one computer is a little bit difficult for me without like fucking knowing. Yeah, and in Hangouts you can do video as well. So yeah, next week. Well, not next week, because next week he'll be in studio, but the week after that, we can do another one, just kind of do them on Saturday nights and have some fun with it, and he'll be able to join that way, so it should be easier.
There you go. Well,
But
let's go back to Brent Spiner and Jesus and a taco and a tortilla and what she's got going on.
yeah, sure, let me move my thing here. I'm just going to add in his text box again so he can chat with us. Okay, there we go, and boom. Yep. Play.
I got 3 golds still, and 2 silvers. This is why I play really hard.
Yeah, I'll be sleeping in at least 8 hours a night now, Brent said. You know what I think will happen? I'll just pretend that I was good at practice.
No, you're not going to kill that person, not today. Alright, push. Push. Push.
She has her own commandments.
Glad all he did was go for me.
There are many things that a person can do in bed that don't at all involve sleep.
You gotta do a push.
Can't hear her now. Okay, I think her thing went really soft there for a minute. So I just jumped ahead a few more minutes and we'll go from there.
Oh, this is insane. Okay, good.
Alright. Run her shield down.
Brent said, I've never seen one.
Any better?
Bukkake clouds. Oh, so Bukkake
Dude,
won't leave
what?
clouds behind?
What?
So those clouds in the ground are just low-lying clouds?
Alright, get on that point. I'm on the
They
point.
do, but I never got to see
Go.
them.
Go.
This time
Go.
they were, Jesus.
You got it.
Do they look like butts, Taran said? No, just low-lying clouds piled up pretty
Yeah,
high
you're
from the
bashing.
ground up. Oh, okay. Perhaps
just
my
kinda shot him
imagination
and died,
is
man.
so Jesus, I don't need to worry about eating
Why
wood
stop
and
now?
Nope,
Is it better, Briggs?
I started that a couple years ago. Isn't this liberating? I seem to gain weight on it, you know. Yes, it is. Don't worry about that, Dale. I'm going to teach you how to keep a healthy weight. I don't like it when my blood pressure goes to
Yeah.
30 over 80 or higher.
I asked him not to be super loud, but he is still.
To go lower. The Jesus diet, calories in, calories out. That is the stance of traditional medicine. It turns out I invented that.
Okay, so you've got a touch of her insanity.
Have you ever seen In the Mouth of Madness, the movie?
I don't think I have. No, I probably should watch that though. I've heard it's good.
It's a fantastic film, but the premise of it is that the madness can be transmitted person to person. I'm afraid that she might actually be patient zero for that. Right? Like if at any point in her videos, she looks like she has two pupils kind of offset from one another in each eye. Yeah, that's how you know she has the madness.
Okay, so here's the thing though. The one thing you're not hearing from her yet is she talks about the Jesuit clones. So in her commandments, one of her main commandments is that, of course, all news outlets of any kind, whether it be like major news corporations or even people posting up things on YouTube like us, the Drunken Peasants, or just any random person making a video, would have to be registered with the Church of Gale. And they would have to use Jesuit clone scanning cameras that would put large golden halos around the Jesuit clones to show who has been replaced and is no longer the actual person. So she has done this to include people like the president or any other number of things, and it's just insane. And hang on. Oh yeah, the fuck. Well, he's watching the whole stream right now, so he's only a second behind.
Well, no, I'm saying if he's saying he can't hear it, I can hear just fine. That's what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, I think he fixed it already for him though, because I just turned her up because her thing was really low, and my video is pulling.
Never mind then.
I don't know. We'll see what Briggs says.
But okay, no, I mean but the fact that we skipped into that. One of her first things was a bukkake clown. It's
a pile. It's a bukkake pile, and it's like a gigantic like Cool Whip mountain of fucking cum. It's fine now. Okay.
How does she know that word? Okay, my point is
I
that
know.
she went to a Christian college and she doesn't know why broccoli gives you gas. How the F does she know what a bukkake is? Unless her mind was warped because she was sold into child slavery when she was like 8, and that's the first thing they did with her.
I have no clue, but this is just a minor taste. I already gave you, Boyd, the fucking little clip of what we're going to watch, but I swear to God, I have to be completely shit-faced wasted for that clip because it's like 12 minutes long, and I'm just gonna be fucking keeling over laughing. So, yeah.
My brain's skipping. It's like somebody took a key to a vinyl record listening to her. My brain can't laugh. It's what the fuck she's talking about.
Oh.
Amazing.
Okay, so I don't remember where I saw this one, like what the actual source was for it, but the title is New York City will fine you $250,000 for not calling Caitlyn Jenner a she from the End Times report. That is the thing. So let's get to this.
Hey everyone, it's the Vigilant Christian.
Oh! It's the Vigilant Christian. This guy is just as insane as Gale is. I'm going to turn him down just a little. He's just as batshit insane. He's all about the Illuminati. He talks about how Disney is satanic, yoga satanic, credit card debt is satanic. Yeah, so there's a bunch of stuff. So we'll watch this one. This should be funny.
For another End Time report. In today's video, I wanted to go ahead and report on the recent developments taking place with the entire LGBT movement takeover. With the assistance of the
Takeover. We're ruling everything, bitches.
Forcing you to adopt this ideology, and if you don't, you're going to pay some major consequences. Just like here
I'm
in
so
Canada,
fucked up right
very
now.
soon, all across the world, these programs are going to go into the education system, where our children are going to be taught that there are all sorts of different genders. These programs already exist and are being pushed more and more in today's world.
It's called terrible gender studies programs in college, and I am all for getting those fucking things removed.
No. You're going to be teaching our children there's more than two genders. Oh, because there are. They're going to teach our children reality. We can't have that.
No, wait. Okay. Hang on, because I know this is going to be one that you're going to get from Briggs in a second, unless I'm mixing up his wording again. That there's not more than two genders, unless because I look at the fact there's technically three if you want to get kind of weird about it, because you have your male, your female, and your person in between who's actually a hermaphrodite, kind of has a bit of both.
Agender.
Oh yeah, okay. So I guess you can consider agender. So there's four, but I don't know, like if you're looking at how you would look at
Still more than
agender.
the gender binary male and female that these assholes want to hang on to because it fits their little tiny world.
And there it is. Briggs there's only two. So
Okay.
I mean, that's that thing. That's what I'm saying. This is where you guys are going to have your little bit. I always like to say three simply because of the fact that it's funnier for me, because I used to say I want to have three children, one of each gender, which would have been, the middle ground.
Yeah, the middle ground's a fallacy. Right?
Well, okay, so hermaphrodite has only one working set of organs, but if they still have both sets of organs, does that not still make them technically, both genders at the same time? Because they have both sets of sexual organs. They may not both work and function properly, but we have plenty of people who are...
Sole benchmark.
Yeah, I was going to say, but we have plenty of people who are infertile for any given reason. So like that, by that logic, it would be wrong to say that there's, that this person's not male because he can't produce sperm, or this woman's not female because she can't produce eggs.
My uncle had measles when he was 17 and he became sterile as a result of it. Does that mean he's no longer a man?
What do you mean? Okay, so no, just a. What do you mean? Just only one working set of organs. Abnormality of one gender. I mean, this is kind of semantics. I feel it's just kind of a semantics thing.
He's doing semantics because he's doing X and Y chromosomes. That's what he's saying.
Okay, if that's the case, then that's different. But we're actually looking at the physical aspect of it. I guess I would look at I look at the three just because. Hey, there's plenty of good Hermie porn out there, and I'm not talking drawing.
Yeah.
Don't give a fuck. I'm bi. I'm trans. I'm fucking. I don't give two shits.
I can't say that I've ever been physically attracted to a hermaphrodite. It's no matter which main gender trait they're dominant with.
Hey man, it's just a matter of you've got the best of both worlds there, and it can be a give and take without it being a toy.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna complain.
There's something there. I just it's never been a thing for me. I think everybody's entitled to their own.
Oh yeah,
gets them going, but that's never been the on switch for me. Let's just put it that way. I mean, generally, if I'm going to
it works for
one
me.
person, it's pretty much a destination vacation. It's either feminine for the sake of feminine or masculine for the sake of masculine. I don't think I want the Neapolitan.
I love the Neapolitan, and of course, being what I am, the trans is fun too, especially if they haven't gotten the lower end surgery yet. So either a she-male or a cunt boy, either way works.
Well, that's still a mix and match kind of scenario at that
Yep.
point.
Okay, here we go. So I don't know if this will play through, but we'll see. It'll play through at least on my thing for you guys.
Right.
The way hermaphrodite works is...
Wow, that's a terrible way of doing that.
The way hermaphrodite works is there's only one set of working organs, and
it pauses. Yeah, that shit doesn't work at all. Don't do that again. I don't know if you heard any of that. No, I didn't think so. Okay. He basically said the way a hermaphrodite works is they only have one set of working sexual organs. And again, we just went over that little fact. Yeah. again, I feel this is something. Let's talk about this next week when you're in the studio and we can actually do this right. And I will bring up a video very similar to this or something like it so that we have it and we can talk about it. Painful. Okay. Anyways, back to the Vigilant Christian Mario. Let's see what he says.
And eventually, anyone who stands in opposition to this will be persecuted. And now in New York City, not using transgender pronouns could get you fined. I have just been talking about this recently here in Canada, my home nation. Our Prime Minister is completely supportive to the LGBT community. He does not want to stand and protect the Christian Canadians who call this nation our home. He wants to join sides with the other one and persecute the opposition. And we should be able to have different worldviews. You see, what is happening here is there's a growing community of people that are starting to adopt a different worldview. And their worldview is that there can be, according to them, more than 50 genders. And
This is like, sadly, it's kind of true, because especially if you ever look at what is it, the Tumblr list of genders. Holy shit! God. It's so. I mean, I know a lot of it's fake,
that
but
must be what he read. That's the thing. It's like rules of the internet. People actually think that shit's real. You know?
Yeah. Right.
I mean, again, it's somebody read BuzzFeed and then decided to do a diatribe on it. You know, who the hell doesn't like Justin Trudeau? He hugs pandas and elbows other people in the tits. I mean, he's a great guy. And he knows quantum physics. Our last 3 presidents don't know how a Cuisinart works.
Oh, come on. Cuisinarts are amazing, though. Of course, I used to use one for work, so when I was a chef, so.
Well, I'm talking about, like, Trudeau's actually a nerd. Like, Obama, he's like a legal nerd, all right? But he's not a more multifunction nerd. If you asked him how a microwave functions on a basic level, he'd probably be like, gonna have to Google that. But, he'd be like, you know, of course, you know, W would have been like, little magic elves live in a box and they hit things with a hammer till they heat up. Yeah. You know, I mean, those are our presidents. Trudeau's a friggin' genius, and this guy's like, let me search how many genders. Yeah, Tumblr's list of genders, which is like rules of the internet. Oh my God, 50 genders! Oh, what up?
The list is going to keep on going.
Fucking craziness.
They're just going to keep on creating them. And then there are those who
Trudeau's a cuck,
like myself, who believe the Bible. And well, you don't even have to believe the Bible. Some people just believe, out of common sense, that there are 2 genders. You see, Christians adopt a biblical worldview, and we believe the Bible to be true. The book of Genesis, chapter 5, verse 2, tells us about the creation of man, and it says, male and female.
Yeah, so here's the best part is male and female. Yes, I got that. Have we ever, like, scientifically ever trusted the Bible for anything?
No.
No.
The answer is never been magic. Not once ever in the history of the world.
This little point here may be right, just because however you want to look at it in general. But I'm just saying, like, they may have this 1 point right, but like having 1 point right out of a spectrum of like 500 plus fuck ups kind of doesn't make you really all that credible. And I'm drunk. Cares more about refugees than his own burning people. Fire!
Canadians.
Because
Canadians.
Well, I think he's talking about the fire, right? I don't come over there and the tits.
All right, there you go. All right.
I think he's talking about the gigantic fire that was happening up in Canada, and I don't remember what area because I don't know Canadian geography. To be fair, I don't know American geography all that well, so.
The forest fire.
Yeah.
I think this is his problem.
Whoa, what's up, babe?
A little too much of that.
I know a lot of American geography.
Oh, well. You are loud.
All right, Mario. What depth of depravity do you have left in your mind for us?
Nope.
I think I'm done with Overwatch for the night.
Okay. God damn it. Are you...
That is God.
Stop clicking.
And bless them. So this is literally an attack on
all right, Briggs.
view. And what is going to happen here is religious freedom and freedom of expression will be non-existent when this agenda is fulfilled. So even if you're not a Bible-believing Christian, this should concern you, that freedom of speech is under attack. If we want to have our nations remain the way that they are, and that is free with liberty to be able to speak whatever it is that we believe, we need to fight now and see through this agenda. It's not right that they're going to be doing what they're about to be doing when it comes to just fining people. Here in Canada, it's 2-year prison sentences for anyone who does not agree. Okay, someone who would say, you know what,
I've not ever heard of this from anyone for saying that, you know, you're not stating proper, like the person's preferred gender pronoun, and they're throwing you in jail for 2 years, because that seems like highly authoritarian. Like Briggs said, like, it's highly authoritarian bullshit.
You know, not once have I heard this, even on our crazy right-wing ass media, but no, like, the only thing I can think of is that, like, that has to be a Canadian legal artifact, like how that German comedian's being tried in Germany for making fun of a Turkish leader, or like you're not allowed to make fun of the crown in England. You know, like a lot of nations have like laws where you can't publicly ridicule the monarchy.
Yeah,
I mean, there has to be some sort of artifact like that where their slander or libel laws have to be coupled with that in some way. But I don't think that's directable directly at saying, well, you didn't use they when you're talking about somebody, so you're going to jail, fucker. You know, I mean, that doesn't seem reasonable by any legal standard of any free nation in the world.
well, of course not. Like, who would fucking... Why would you ever get thrown in prison for not using someone's, like, I don't know. It's one of those situations where, no matter how you look at it, the mental transfer of, like, having to start saying certain things to different people about, like, what their gender pronoun bullshit is that's a difficult change. Like, I know for a fact that even people at my work are going to have a hard time switching mine from him to her, you know, as it is. Like,
but in that respect, you're going to be cueing them in as to when exactly you feel it's appropriate that they should be addressing you differently. Correct?
Yes. I've already sent out, like, because of the fact that I work with, you know, people throughout the entire state, I emailed something like 47 different hotels and directors, along with their assistant directors and project managers on this stuff, because I work with them pretty consistently, you know, whether it be with gear and all that shit. So I've told them that, you know, soon enough you'll see on my emails, because they have my tag on them that has all my information, so they can contact me, that the name on there will be changing, because I'm transgender, going through the transition and everything. And then you guys will be told down the line when when the change comes and all that kind of stuff. I'll completely expect some sort of, like, transitional period where people are not used to it, and I'm fine with that. But
my point was that
these days, these people don't fucking do that. Yeah, like, the other people don't
know that a person's transgender or that they're going through that transition yet, and I've run into a few trans people in my life that expected the opposite pronoun while they were still wearing a full beard.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's like, that's unreasonable as an expectation, and even less reasonable as a legal guideline.
Yeah, and that's the big thing, and that's one of the things that Briggs and I that we always talk about, is the fact that there's so many people that sit there and, like, throw out these random genders, or these what is it called, the other kin and all that other shit, and they expect people to automatically know what they are, or a lot of them do anyway, so with no sense of, like, it's a he. Yeah, it's like it's a he or a she in this case for the gender side of things, and you're like, well, no, I'm an agender, asexual, blah, blah, blah. Like, fucking, I don't even know, because I'm not that stupid. I've never looked that deep into Tumblr without starting to feel brain damage happening, so I stopped it for self-preservation. But it's just a matter of, like, I don't know what you are, so if I say the gentleman over there said X or Y to me, to, like, the manager, for example, and then you come running over saying, no, it's a Z, it's an XE. Like, what the fuck does that mean? And then two, how am I supposed to know that? It's not like you have a big badge or, like, a sign with lights blinking on over your head saying, address me as fuck, whatever it is, you know?
Well, ironically, if Trump gets elected president, they'll get their wish because they'll all be wearing little decorative armbands with a little description of what they are.
Cunt bag.
Well, I was thinking more of like back in the day with the pink triangle armbands, but
Oh,
you know,
whatever.
I mean,
Anyways.
but to that effect, I mean, for something that's not self-evident, it's always unreasonable for a neutral third party to understand what it is that you're talking about or what you expect. That's something that's always best reserved for a situation in which you are familiar with the individual and their life experience and what they expect out of it. Like with you knowing that you're transgender, I know that at some point you're going to change your pronouns and you're going to let me know, hey, my pronouns are changing now. So if you wouldn't mind from here on.
My thing is though is you have to remember though too. Pronouns are never said to the person you're talking to. They're said to other people about said person. You do not address me as she. You would address me as whatever name or dude or fucker or whatever other random epitaph that you tend to normally use with me, and I don't care about that. That's one of those things.
If you hear like in the podcast department, say we have a Google Hangouts running.
Okay.
And in that scenario, I'm speaking with Briggs and I'm relating a story about you from the past. All right. Now, in that situation, I would have an opportunity to use pronouns of you in your presence. So,
yeah, true.
Again, without
Gotcha.
self-evidence, if you're wearing your hair long and you've gone through the entire process and you look female, a person is more likely to address you by what is self-evident.
Yeah, of
But
course.
Again, you can't say, well, I want you to call me Mrs. So-and-so, and they've got a better lumberjack beard than I can hope to grow. It's not self-evident. It's not that I'm trying to be crass. It's that, if you expect people to address you properly, your appearance should be self-evident. And unfortunately, even especially these new gender communities or new sexuality communities, there's no real defining limitation. Like, if you see a guy in South Beach who walks up to you with a pair of assless chaps on, odds are he's gay. All right?
Probably.
That's not an unreasonable...
Or a biker.
Assless
But mostly...
chaps?
I've seen it. Okay, yeah, it's a good mix. It's a gay biker.
He's just as welcome in the Village People as anybody else.
Fags!
But and that's the point, though. But it's self-evident.
I get to say that.
You don't have to go out on a limb to place that person as who and what they are. Now, to point it out as a matter of fact is not a bad thing to point it out. As ridicule, obviously, is a negative thing and shouldn't be done. But, I mean, the problem is that a lot of these people that are finding themselves at an age in which they're not mature enough to have that thought.
Yeah.
They'll get it eventually, but in the meantime, the entire planet's in for a rough patch.
Hold on just a second. What'd you say, Tim?
This turkey falls apart.
Yes, I know. It's
All of it just fell on my plate when I took a bite.
I made like the best fucking turkey ever today. Apparently, I didn't even mean to. I slow cooked it for like 6 hours.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do.
All right, let's go back to this craziness.
Call you he as Z. Look at these pronouns. Okay, there's 56 different genders, so Z or here or whatever. I can't do that because
Here.
I adhere to a biblical worldview, which I thought was my freedom to do. I thought I was
No. Okay, so you believe in... God damn it. Pause, you son of a bitch.
Apparently my side's working better than yours, so I'll help out.
Thank you. I don't know why it's doing that. I'm just going to tell you to pause. I'm just going to be hands off on this now. Yes, you agree with a biblical worldview, but you also believe in a very conspiracy theory based worldview where the Illuminati is what runs this planet and has their hands in every single little thing we do every day. Excuse me. Goodness. Fucking, I don't know. This guy's he's out of his mind.
And if I don't submit to that, the government's going to come knocking on my door and find me. Because we live in a new world order.
You deserve it.
The freedoms that we once have are under attack, and now we are presented with a time in mankind to stand up and fight against this tyranny that is starting to take over all the world here in Canada, now in New York City. So
Okay, all the world here in Canada and New York City. It's not exactly all the world, but we'll just let that little tiny bit slide.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right either, but okay.
I mean, that's his whole world, right? It's just his little section of Canada and his little section of New York City that this post came from.
Oh my lord. Okay.
But I mean, it's the New York Post. Like, I can. Some of their stuff is gonna be these conjecture pieces that are meant to draw more readers in. They're meant to kind of draw a little bit of like the crazy, not necessarily the crazy people, but like the people who are more interested in like the really kind of weird offshoots that isn't the normal everyday news. But I mean, like, it's just an opinion piece. So why is it like? How is it that you believe this is fact and not opinion? That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Well, yeah, but these people believe that opinions are facts because, again, the belief in religion itself is an opinion. All right, if you can't demonstrate for an absolute fact that your God exists, if you cannot say, it is written in my scripture that the Lord God said it will rain on Tuesday at 3 p.m. and then it rains on Tuesday at 3 p.m. There's no observable, testable, quantifiable fact to your faith other than you believe it, which makes it opinion. All right?
Yeah.
So opinion as fact is not hard for them. They're already doing that. They're just adding the additional of this.
So I've been having, as it is, one of my normal things anymore is that if I post something up on Facebook or whatever, and I'm sure you've seen a bunch of my posts, maybe you have, maybe you haven't, whatever. But one of them is that, like, one of my old military friends, Misty, that's all I shall give her name as, is she'll post back to things that I have put up, but she's highly religious. Like, we're talking like this is kind of ridiculous level of like highly religious, and I know she tries to be kind of like the level-headed one, but in talking with her, you kind of see just how out of her mind in some aspects she really is, because she'll she's that type of person who says we have free will, but God has a plan for us. So like, and it'll be in the same sentence kind of a thing. So you're like, you do realize like what you're just saying is just a contradiction against itself. Like, you can't have an all-knowing being that sees everything and allows us free will, because it doesn't give us that. Like, that doesn't work.
The moment a God would impose will, you would cease to have free will. So the two concepts are mutually incompatible. But the fact is, they've been raised since very early childhood. I mean, honestly, is there any coincidence that the more likely outcome of somebody's religious state is based on the predominant local religion?
No.
If you go to where Buddhists are, the kids are Buddhist. If you go to where Muslims are, the kids are Muslims. If you go to where Christians are, the kids are Christians.
Yeah, but the thing is that a lot of the times the Christians will sit there and say, no, they would be Christians in other places too, because this is their belief, but they don't understand how belief works. I'm
not speaking to the belief, I'm speaking to the indoctrination.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, it takes...
the mindset allows them to hold that logical contradiction, because that's what they've been trained to hold, is logical contradictions. That since this question is too hard, I'm going to offer up the only thing that I know, and that's what I've been taught. That's where you could have even
if you can kill for 20 minutes, then yeah,
trap.
We'll kill this in 20 minutes. Sorry, I got most except that very last part. You said that last part.
Don't worry about it. It's out of the previous
Yeah, sure. Yeah, true. I can just look back on it, right?
So okay. This guy here, this guy. So I would actually see his source. I mean, obviously he's looking at the Washington Post, but I would like to see the actual source of what he's looking at, because there's no way.
He doesn't cite any sources. I mean, he's just looking at the New York Post and what their thing is. So his thing's kind of
obviously this is where he got his 250,000. I'm looking at the really tiny screen I'm able to see here. The 250,000 number is mentioned in the source, but for violations that are deemed to be a result of malicious intent. So possibly, I'm thinking that he's assuming that this is going to be a hate crimes legislation, as opposed to the civil fine imposed on somebody who commits a violent hate crime. That this is going to be the idea of a thought crime. This guy's been reading his Orwell and not really getting it.
That's that's
wouldn't
the
say
thing I
just
keep
read
looking
that.
at. I really feel like I need to go through and read that book, like really read it. I've skimmed through it before, but in some cases when I read books, I'll read a book through and I'll read it. I'll go through it really fast because it's really interesting, but I'll completely lose track of like all these little nuanced things. So I got to go back and like reread it again. So
Yeah, but I mean, very specifically that mindset, the thought police, the idea that you could outlaw a thought, that through mannerisms and diction and details of someone's life, you could determine whether or not even if they tell you, no, I love everything, and then really, no, I really hate that, and then you would be charged as a criminal based purely upon your own natural thoughts. That's again goes back to that paranoid conspiracy crap. You know,
yeah,
that's the only thing I can think of is this guy's taking the hate crimes legislation completely out of context.
probably. We'll jump ahead. We'll do one more video, and maybe we'll get one of those two completely bullshit as seen on TV commercials. 'Cause I guess our next door neighbor wants to come over and play some Donkey Kong 64, and that requires my computer that we're streaming on. So I told him give us 20 minutes. I think we can kill this last two in 20 minutes. So.
All right. Well, while you're queuing that up, I want to show you something. I've been working on this for a little while in my spare time, and this is a constellation glyph that I'm coming up with, and each one of those axes represents a facet of gender, biology, or identity, or drive. And on that constellation, you can locate basically any facet of your basic sexuality, and then create a compatibility glyph that you could use as a social share function. If you were looking for somebody who's interested in the same scope and scale of what you are, it would make it very easy for people who fall into different sex categories to be able to run into one another and reliably.
How the fuck do you do this stuff, man? I'm not even really gonna get in too deep into that. Fucking how you come up with these things is beyond me, and then make up like these little program styles for it. I just don't get it. You're too damn smart for your own fucking good.
No, it's a question that gets in my head, and eventually I'll put it down on paper and try to figure it out. But one of those things is the idea that everything is quantifiable, including the insanity of these people that we're looking at. But
See what their level is on the scale.
Well, right, but I mean everything's quantifiable. I mean you have a physical dimension. You are of male genitalia, both genitalia of one side or the other, and then the other genitalia. That's quantifiable. You can I'm not saying about you 7 to 8 inches. I'm talking about you either possess these self-evident traits or not. All right, you have a sex drive that is asexual or would be classified as a nymphomaniac. It's you can self-classify yourself. It's quantifiable, and you can put all these pieces of information together to create a map of who that person is sexually, and you can even add in more axes if you want to talk about things like likelihood to commit, wanting to have children. I mean, any metric that you wish, and you can use that as a dating guide that's more accurate than this crap they put out there now, which is I'd like to find a guy because I'm a girl.
Yeah. Give me just a brief moment here. I'm going to mute my mic for just a moment.
You left me completely here with free air. Never leave dead air, man. It's usually where cat videos come in.
Okay, sorry about that. I know it's kind of weird just to have that blank space there, but
With dead air.
yeah, sorry. Well, hey, it happens. We have neighbors, we have friends that come over, so, and it's all good. All right, so we'll move on really quick. We'll go to Jim Baker doing trans rights and legal abortion, bringing God's judgment, talking about the earthquake thing.
Yeah, please do. I'm so fucking quiet.
He's always so quiet.
You believe a lot. That's what the Bible says will happen in the last days.
Yes, to bucket.
But you can't.
169 servings of amazingness for $100.
God is going to wink at
Get
you.
your dinner in a
He's just
bucket.
not going to do it.
The fuck?
And then Jesus said, of course, when asked what's going to be a sign of his coming back,
I think the Rick and Morty theme in the background is enhancing this.
I didn't even know you could hear that.
there'll be no food to eat, an epidemic, and then earthquakes, and they're happening. Right
I totally saw Klingon against Klingon in that, and I said it's Kingdom.
in the
Oops.
history of the world. That's exactly
Where's the battle?
Klingon versus Klingon, cats and dogs. Yeah.
Here we go. This guy.
In the 1970s, they were experiencing 4,000 to 5,000 earthquakes a year, and that was consistent for a couple of decades. And then around the year 2000, we started to experience over 20,000 earthquakes every single year. That's a 400% increase. And the Word of God says, listen, before I come back, you're going to see these things like an increase of earthquakes. We're seeing that right now. But then whenever we hit the year 2013, it increased to 89,000 earthquakes a year and hasn't decreased since then. Last year, we experienced 118,000 earthquakes. Compared to the 70s, 4,000 to 5,000 earthquakes a year. Is this not an increase of earthquakes? Are we in the time of sorrows?
Okay, so here's the funniest and biggest fucking thing, which is the most hilarious to me.
Besides his haircut?
Oh yeah, his haircut is fucking terrible. Like, and that, I don't know, man, that whole just fucking wraparound beard thing, not quite, I don't know, not quite the style you should probably be using. Kind of shows off that extra chin underneath there. But anyways, besides that, I like, it's so fucking stop it, you bastard. It's just so hilarious. Like, okay, so yes, they're saying, oh, like all the earthquakes are increasing. So there's like two reasons that I've heard for that, and one you're going to refute right away, which is originally, I was thinking that, well, one of the things is technology keeps improving over time, so maybe some of the sensors and the data we're collecting is better. You can refute that in a second. But the other thing I was thinking was the fact that it comes down to like the Earth has cycles and shifts that deal with how many earthquakes we have and we don't have. It kind of fluctuates a little. I don't know if it fluctuates that quickly, but from a couple of the sites that I was looking at on USGS talking about this, they said that there should be some increase in earthquakes over a certain period of time. However, I don't know if they're being completely truthful with the numbers here about this. So I'll let you do your refutation part here.
Well, it's not so much a refutation yes, the direct data does show that there are more earthquakes being experienced every year, and there are several different factors. All right, the biggest factors that are really directly contributable to the last 15 to 20 years is fracking. All right, they're literally pumping hundreds of billions of gallons of liquid into the crust of the earth to break it into little pieces.
Why are they doing this, though? I don't understand why we do
to get
fracking.
Natural gas. That's it.
Oh, gotcha.
There's
okay.
natural gas trapped in the shale material. When they break it, they inject water and sand into those interstitial spaces between the broken fractures of rock, and the sand keeps the gaps up instead of the rock slapping back together. The sand provides like little roller bearings in there that allows the gas to travel freely. And in Oklahoma, very specifically, they've been able to get a 400% increase in earthquakes over the last 10 years based entirely around the fracking industry. And those earthquakes are centered in the mile or two below the Earth's surface, directly around these fracking sites. It's not surprising. You turn solid rock into sand, that eventually it's going to settle down and maybe do it violently considering the amount of weight involved. The other big factor that is not really being attributed to a large majority of the crustal rim quakes quite so yet is the fact is that as we're losing total volume of ice at the poles through its seasonal changes or even just overall, the amount of weight pressing down on the surface. You think the crust isn't just this wonderful
fail
thing. Yeah, it's empty cover. But the crust isn't completely round. The ice is pushing down on it, which means it's lifting up the sides slightly, and then you have the tidal forces against the planet. Everybody thinks the Earth is a solid rock, but it's really a big ball of goo with a little tiny M&M shell on the outside of it. And as the ice melts and the weight distributes more evenly, the plates move.
Yeah.
So, as a direct reaction to the fact that we're dumping in the entire cliffs of Dover worth of carbon into the atmosphere every year, we're removing the ice. As the ice disappears, and even the water that's around it by the weight of the ice gets the water gets pulled closer to it. It is closer to the poles. When the ice melts, the weight on the crust lifts, and the water itself moves out towards the equator. So that change in weight over a global scale is going to cause some volcanic activity, like they're worried about Mount Rainier and Mount Hood right now, along with Mount St. Helens going all at the same time. They're worried about the Cascade Fault. They're worried about Toba. They're worried about Yellowstone. Yes, as the crust moves through natural cycles, it's going to go up and down. But it's not any one factor. It's certainly not fucking Jesus coming back on a white horse.
Yeah, right.
All right. It's the fact is that our anthropocentric effects on the environment, are actually causing widespread systemic changes, to include earthquakes. Now, to what extent each one of those things is valued, we would never have enough information. We would have to know where every particle of the planet Earth is at any given time to be able to model and forecast what earthquakes were created by man's interference.
Yeah. So.
But it's certainly, again, the answer has never been magic ever.
Well, let's see what Jim Baker's response to this insanity question is.
That's what the whisper said. Shake right next to it, right after, there will be earthquakes, famines. He says, and all of these, famine, hunger, epidemic, earthquakes in various places, all these are the beginning of something. That's what we are right now. We're there.
I mean, that's kind of a very vague general statement, anyways. But like earthquakes, meow. No matter how you look at it, like things like earthquakes and fires, famines, all this shit. Yeah, it does cause sorrow to people because they tend to lose property or they lose family members or whatever the case may be. It's kind of a vague general statement. Just that's all I'm saying.
That's what they hang their hat on. The more vague, it's like cold reading somebody.
Yeah.
Like any asshole that's ever done a cold reading to somebody, do you have a brother or a sister? Do you have a mother or a father? Well, fucking of course they have a mother and a father. All right.
Even if they're not in the family or they're dead, it is like you had them.
I mean, their descriptions of events are so vague. They could have been they could just put it there. You'll see two birds fucking by moonlight, and it'll be the end of times. And then for the rest of time, every asshole that follows that religion is going to see two birds fucking at night and go, "Oh, the end times are upon us."
Right.
Now think about it. What other period of history just immediately springs to mind that you can say earthquakes and plagues and famines? I don't know, the 1870s through the 1890s in Ireland? All right? There were widespread famines. I mean, any time in period in history when there was disease and famine, the Black Death, there were earthquakes during that time period. There was a volcanic eruption during that time period.
Yeah.
All right? Those values, those events are so vague as to be almost impossible not to be able to match them up with a period in history.
Yeah.
It's not a matter that it fits this time period. It's fit several million different time periods in human recorded history.
Yeah, but they don't look at that. That's never a thought in their head. Is that this is a normal thing. It's happening now. So it's. I mean, we have this weekend. Earth is supposed to end. You do realize this, right? There's already. Yeah,
I saw that. It was supposed to be yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.
We shouldn't be talking right now.
Hey, we made it. Who fucking would have expected that to happen?
I think I've survived 64 different ends of the world now.
I don't know how many. I don't forget how old you are.
I'm just a little bit older, but I mean, like.
Yeah, I like only a few years, right? Like, probably not even 5, as I recall.
Fuck, I mean, like, the first one I remember them being on the news was like back in like '87. Like that's the first one I could even remember, like off the top of my head.
You're like, I was like,
it was a little
5
bit
at the
after
time.
Challenger blew up. Yeah, but it was like a little bit after Challenger blew up.
Yeah.
And like there was this other group, that, and then there was the next big news story was the guy who had all his followers cut their balls off and then wear white robes and drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, right.
Because there was the comet coming through. There's always these end time preachers because they so very desperately want something provable and forecastable to say that this verifies their foundational beliefs. Because, even men like Jim Baker, at some point in the back of their head, that's thinking, is this all bullshit? But they have very clear guidelines in their mind that they say, well, these things should come to pass at some point because this book says so. And this book is purported to be written by an all-knowing, all-powerful God. So they look for these signs as confirmation. Unfortunately, they fall victim to confirmation bias, but they believe
Yeah.
that there's a confirmation, like a.
I don't. I mean, to some small extent, I don't know if a lot of them do actually look at whether or not their thoughts are bullshit. And the only reason I say this is because for 25 years, for me, that was, well, I guess 20 years. I can't really count the first 5 years of my life because it's not like I remember them very well. So, but okay, so for like the last 20 years, per se, so we can say that, I honestly never really questioned it. It was. There were certain things that I guess looking back were kind of like contradictions in my mind, but I just passed them out of my mind. I didn't address it. So people like this, I could see them not actually ever paying attention to it and actually caring. So
Well, see, I think you have a different distance to it than he does. I think that's the difference. Is that the average follower of faith is not the guy like Jim Baker here. All right, this guy lives, breathes, eats, and sleeps that book. All right, he is so close to it that he has to have read that book more than a few times. So that's, what was it? Mark Twain that said that the Bible is the best book ever written for making atheists.
yeah,
All right. And the fact of the matter, I'm probably sure I'm misattributing that, but these guys are a hell of a lot closer to it. So they're more likely to have had even not even a conscious crisis of faith, but they really, really want it to be true. That so much so that in any doubt in their head that comes in, they go, "Oh, that's the devil." But they really earnestly want it to be true. And the only way that it can be true is if they do what, Edwin Haley did and predict an event in the future that comes true. Right? And we have Halley's Comet now, and that was the first time in scientific history, in human history, mind you, that a prediction had been made beyond the lifespan of the individual making the prediction and had it come true accurately to the day. All right? You look at the Bible, they never say June 26, 2035, the bug people are coming. It's always two birds fucking on a branch under moonlight next to the bear and the harlot. All right? Because it has to be intentionally vague. Otherwise, there would come in a very specific event, like Homer Simpson, where he would say it's May 11th at 2 p.m. and everybody shows up on the rock waiting for the end of the world, and nothing happens.
yeah.
And you could justifiably say you made a prediction, it failed to happen as you said, therefore whatever mechanism you used was faulty. Now, remember dogma, the entire universe only exists upon the presumption that God is infallible and infinite. And if you prove God wrong, the universe ceases to exist. So, making an accurate prediction of a very specific time and event, and then not having it come through would be a direct, legitimate, recorded contradiction of their faith. And they can't have that. Their confirmation bias goes so hard is that anything that would absolutely nullify their faith is not allowed. But anything that might possibly confirm their faith, they're desperate to find.
Yeah. And that, I mentioned earlier, my friend from my first unit. Yeah, she feels very much like that when you talk with her. That she'll dive at any possible chance to like prove a thing, but no matter how much evidence you stack against it, it just never works. So, but let's get back to this really quick, and we'll finish off. I want to try and end this cast in about 5-10 minutes or so.
If you can't see what's going on in America, we don't know the difference between boys and girls. That's how sick we are.
Okay, there we go.
You think grown men should go into girls' bathrooms? Don't even get. Is that what you all believe? You want?
So I've just got to say this. Okay, so the Friendly Atheist put up on Facebook that a year ago, like this, just last week, Mike Huckabee, one of the candidates who is running for president, had stated just a year ago that if he were a teenager, he would have happily said he was trans to be able to go into the women's, the girls' changing rooms and lockers and showers at school if he were still in high school. And I'm like, what the fuck does that tell you about the mindset of these people? That the actual trans people don't sit there and say that shit. They're like, we just want to be able to go take a piss in wherever we fucking feel comfortable in. Tim, you're really loud, man. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, no,
But-
I get
but we
exactly
don't-
what you're saying, but that's more about him not only treating the opposite sex as a sexual object or sexual property, but also as well as the idea that he's doing that for the concept of sexual gratification. So he can't see the idea, very specifically, that people might have actions that are not justified purely on the grounds of sexual gratification. That, like you said, you would just want to take a piss with other women who happen to be like you, whether or not you were born with a vagina or you were given one through medical science. The fact is that you, as an identified woman, would feel more comfortable in an environment where you're surrounded by people who are less likely to treat you as a sexual object of property for gratification.
Yeah.
Ironically, it's your wish to be in that environment is the diametric opposite of the reason why he would want to do that thing.
Exactly, and it's just one of those things. It seems that it's just sad to me to see that, you know, more pastors, preachers, people of faith or religion in some way, shape, or form use this as an example, and I'm just like, that really just shows so much about you as a person, you know, in how you look at things and just how screwed up you really are. But
Are you in agreement? This nation is sick, people.
because it's filled with people like you as the majority.
Who is going through a problem or a serious, you know, situation.
The outspoken
But
people, at least.
We, as Americans, 99% of the people do not have to give up their sanity.
Right.
So you're saying that 1% do have to give up their sanity.
That's absolutely.
Forcefully, you have to give up your sanity.
I sit back and I watch what's going on in the world. I'm going to have to stop watching it because it's driving me crazy. It's insane. It's crazy what's going on.
You're calling everyone.
Acting like it's normal.
Exactly.
You're calling everyone else insane.
We're seeing a Joshua type of
Just
faith where we have
that
got
little
to
fucking mirror.
Who today we are going to serve.
Yeah.
I don't believe, you see, there is such a divide happening in America right now. It's no longer convenient to be a lukewarm Christian. I believe that in the soon future that lukewarm Christianity will be a thing of the past.
Yes, because hopefully we'll just get rid of it all.
Right, and my argument is that they're barely a majority now. Right?
Yeah, their
That's falling
stranglehold.
yearly.
Yeah, their stranglehold is actually rather rapidly going away. So
I blame mass media for the ability for these people to still be heard, because otherwise they'd still be that guy jerking himself off on a subway somewhere.
yeah, right. All right, everyone. I know that we're cutting this a little short still. He still got like 3 more minutes of BS on this, but I just cannot handle that. Like my mental brain. My brain is just gone.
Your mental brain.
My mental brain. I am a little drunk. Leave me alone.
Plus the guys. Mental brain.
Plus the guys are really dying. They're itching to play some Donkey Kong 64. So that is
really
fine.
Get their hands on those bananas, huh?
Bananas. All right. Well, I hope you guys all enjoyed it. If you guys enjoyed watching the episode, subscribe to the channel to see more content like this. Leave likes, because those things, you know, kind of help out the channel. Share it all over social media, and of course, leave comments in the comment section below. We will talk about them either in the comment section or on the next episode. Alrighty, everyone. Have a good evening.